With that, we go to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the ranking member as well, and I thank the witness for appearing today. A word about FHA, 80 years of service, and I might add outstanding service. 34 million first-time homeowners, low-income Americans having the opportunity to fulfill the American dream, have a place to call home. And FHA was in the business of lending when banks would not lend to each other. When we hit the crisis in 2008, that moved over into 9 and other years, banks refused to lend money to each other. That's how frozen the market was. But FHA was still in business. That counter-cyclical function has served this country well, and we ought to salute FHA for the outstanding job that it has done. I do so. Your capital ratio is currently above 2%. If it were below 2%, this hearing would be about that. But it's above 2%. Thank God for you and what you do. Now, you put a lot of emphasis on in your statement on first-time home buyers. I'm going to read a little bit here. You indicate that by making sure borrowers, particularly first-time home buyers, have access to affordable credit to purchase homes. And further in your statement, you indicate that over the course of your 81-year history, FHA has funded approximately 13% of total market mortgage originations, but more than 50% of all first-time home buyer market purchase mortgages. That's on page 3 of your statement. I'm focusing on this because I believe that there are people who pay light bill, gas bill, water bill, phone bill, cable bill, people who have other credit, but they have what are called thin files. And they are currently making rent payments for some years that would exceed what a mortgage would be. If given the opportunity, they would have a monthly payment for housing that would be less than what their current payment is for rent. They have sound credit, but they don't have a fat file. It is my opinion that we should look at light bill, gas bill, water bill, phone bill. Don't look at it in such a way as to only add to your score, but also cause your score to depreciate if it's negative. But we should look at this, and we should do so in an automated fashion. It's my opinion that if we should do this, we will accord other persons the opportunity to own a home that can pay the mortgage. I'm interested in talking to you about this very briefly with my 1 minute and 47 seconds left. Tell me, dear friend, do we find that this circumstance actually exists first, where there are people who can afford a mortgage, thin files, not fat files, and they are paying rent that exceeds the mortgage payment?
Thank you for your question. Absolutely, yes. There are a lot of people for whom rent is, in fact, over half of their income sometimes, and they're still paying. And as we know, the rent burden is even growing. So where homeownership may very well be the right answer and lower cost on that. And we today strive to address those thin files. We use a scorecard, but we also use manual underwriting if you do not get an accept on the scorecard. And it's those exact type of documents that we encourage lenders to look at.
With my 50 seconds left, let me intercede and say this. What we need is an automated process. We are doing it manually, and by the way, other lenders do it manually too. They look at these things. But we need an automated process that will allow us to help more people in a much more expeditious fashion. Do you concur, my dear friend?
Yes, was my second sentence. There are good things happening out there. People are starting to grab some of that data, and we're looking to see how we can incorporate it into what we do in terms of underwriting FHA mortgages.
With my final 11 seconds, let me just say to you, I want to work with you to develop the automated process. I'm working with my colleagues here in Congress, and there are many on both sides who favor this. We just haven't reached a proper conclusion yet. But I want to work with you to get this done. It really is a good thing for not only the people who will benefit, but also for the American economy. I yield back the balance of my time, and I thank you for the extra 17 seconds.